the most beautiful royal jewelry in the world. The sapphire tiara consists of 5 connected elements, each of which is topped with a large sapphire. In total, the tiara contains 24 sapphires, 10 of which are very small, and 1,083 diamonds. The story of this miniature begins with the Duke of Orléans, the future King of France, Louis Philippe, who acquired it from Hortense de Beauharnais, Queen of Holland. Next, the tiara passed to Marie Amelia, Queen of France, who presented it to her grandson, Count Louis-Philippe of Paris, and his wife, Marie Isabella of Orléans, for the wedding. However, before becoming a gift, the tiara underwent changes. Maria Amelia reduced it in size by dismantling several elements so that later they could make another, smaller tiara. The donated specimen is only 10.7 centimeters in diameter and 6.2 centimeters in height. The tiara then passed to other members of the Orleans family, including the Duchess of Guise, her son Henri, and his wife Isabella Orleans-Braganza. In the end, the tiara ended up with Monseigneur Henry of Orleans, Count of Paris, who sold it to the Louvre in 1985. The aquamarine tiara with loops, owned by Queen Eugenie of Spain, also known as Ina, is one of the most exquisite jewelry in Europe. This tiara, decorated with beautiful pearls, was made by the Spanish jeweler Anne Sorin in 1906 for Queen Alfonso XIII. However, shortly after the tiara was born, Queen Ina noticed the Vladimir tiara and wanted her jewelry to be redone in the same style. The jewelers listened to her wishes, and the design of the tiara was changed. Brazilian aquamarines were added to it. However, due to the weight of the stones and the fragility of the frame, the tiara often broke. During the lifetime of Ina's daughter, Beatrice, the tiara was completely reconstructed by the Bivielgari jewelry house. Now the design includes diamond loops with swinging aquamarines, which makes the decoration even more refined and attractive. The tiara and its accompanying parure were left to the descendants of Queen Ina. Both of her daughters, Sandra and Olympia, were seen wearing the tiara, as well as Olympia's daughter, Sibylla, Princess of Luxembourg. This jewelry has become a symbol of the Spanish royal family and continues to attract the attention of jewelry lovers around the world. The aquamarine tiara, Pine flower, is an exquisite piece of jewelry that was created by the Cartier jewelry house. The tiara got its name due to the aquamarine cones that adorn it. This precious accessory has become popular due to its unique beauty and elegance. The tiara was created in honor of the 15th anniversary of the wedding of Queen Mother Elizabeth Bowes, Lion, and King George VI. It was a sign of love and respect that the husband expressed to his wife by giving her this jewelry. The Queen Mother was not a big fan of the pine blossom tiara. She didn't wear it often, but in 1973, she gave it to her granddaughter, Princess Anne, on the occasion of her wedding to Mark Phillips. Princess Anna slightly changed the design of the tiara. She replaced the central bump with a smaller aquamarine stone to make it easier to wear the tiara. The bump itself began to be used as a brooch. The lotus flower tiara is an elegant piece of jewelry that attracts attention with its sophistication and romantic name. It was originally a necklace, but thanks to Elizabeth, the Duchess of York, it took on a new life and became a tiara. The history of the tiara begins in 1923, when Garrard created it from a necklace given by King George VI to Queen Elizabeth on the occasion of their wedding. Since then, the tiara has become a symbol of love and devotion between spouses. In 1937, Lady Mary Elphinston, the godmother and aunt of Elizabeth II, wore a tiara to the coronation of King George VI. This event highlighted the connection between the royal family and the tiara necklace. In 1959, the tiara was presented as a gift to Princess Margaret, who often wore it at official receptions. Princess Margaret was known for her sense of style and love of jewelry, which is why the tiara became one of her favorite pieces of jewelry. In 1993, Serena Armstrong-Jones, daughter of Princess Margaret, married David Armstrong-Jones, Earl of Snowdon. She wore a lotus flower tiara for the occasion. Serena's wedding became an important event in the life of the royal family and attracted public attention to the tiara. Finally, on October 20th, 2015, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, wore a tiara during a state banquet in honor of the Chinese president at Buckingham Palace. Catherine chose a red Jenny Packham dress and complemented her look with a lotus flower tiara. This event highlighted the importance of the tiara in the history of the royal family and its role in official events. The bandeau tiara, created by the Cartier jewelry house in 1925, occupies a special place in the history of royal jewels. This jewelry is not only one of the most famous pieces of jewelry, but also has a deep historical significance. The bandeau tiara has become a symbol of the era and a testament to important events in the life of the royal family. The bandeau tiara was created by the Cartier jewelry house in 1925 by order of Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, the future Queen Mother. This jewelry is a combination of 3 of 5 bracelets, 1 emerald, 1 ruby, 1 with sapphires and 2 diamond. Some of the bracelets were given to Elizabeth in 1924 by her husband, King George VI, and the other part in 1925. The bandeau tiara has a special significance in the history of the royal family. After the death of the Queen Mother, the decoration was inherited by her daughter, Elizabeth II. This means that the bandeau tiara is associated with the reign of the 2 queens and is a symbol of their era. The bandeau tiara is distinguished by its unique design and the combination of various precious stones. An emerald bracelet gives the jewelry a rich green color. Ruby gives it a bright red. Sapphire gives it a deep blue. And diamond bracelets add sparkle and radiance. This combination of stones creates a unique image of a bandeau tiara. The family tree, with portraits of the royal personages of the House of Habsburg, is one of the most impressive pieces of jewelry. It was made in Vienna in 1725 to 1730 by Master Christoph Dorsch and is a golden tree with 16 medallions made of carved chalcedony. These medallions depict portraits of the kings and emperors of the House of Habsburg in chronological order. The family tree of the Habsburgs was commissioned by Emperor Charles VI for the imperial treasury. It was a time when interest in genealogy and family history reached its peak. Charles VI wanted to perpetuate the history of his family and pass it on to future generations. Jeweler Christoph Dorsch created a golden tree which became one of the most outstanding pieces of jewelry art of that time. The tree has a bizarre shape and is made of pure gold. The medallions with portraits of kings and emperors are arranged on the branches of the tree in chronological order. The collection of one of the most famous museums of decorative and applied arts in the world, the Victoria and Albert Museum, contains a unique clock that attracts the attention of visitors with its beauty and history. This precious watch was created in Western Europe between 1625 and 1640. They went through several alterations, the last of which was completed in 1625 to 1650. The protective silver case was made in 1650 to 1700, and the Arlander-Dobson movement and dial were replaced around 1750. The watch is an enameled gold watch with the Stuart coat of arms in a garter and the monogram CR engraved on the case. There is also an inscription on the case. This watch was a gift from the king to Count Monteith. Apparently, the watch originally belonged to Charles I and was later presented by Charles II to William Graham, 19th Earl of Monteith, 1661 to 1694. This makes this watch not only an excellent example of watchmaking, but also an important historical artifact that reminds us of the past and how objects can change hands while maintaining their value. The ring of Louis-Antoine de Bourbon, Duke of Angoulême, is not only a beautiful piece of jewellery, but also an important historical artifact. This ring is associated with one of the key events of the 19th century, the victory of France over the Spanish liberal government in 1824. In 1887, the ring was awarded in honour of this victory to Louis-Antoine, who commanded the French corps sent to Spain to restore the absolute powers of the Spanish king Ferdinand VII. This corps, known as the 100,000 Sons of Saint Louis, was part of the policy of the Holy Alliance and suppressed the uprising of Rafael del Riego in Spain. According to contemporaries, France's military triumph was as swift as it was complete. This event became an important stage in the history of Europe, and it was marked by the presentation of the ring to Louis-Antoine. The ring is an oval pendant, which depicts Louis-Antoine in a laurel wreath. Around the image is the inscription, "Spain blesses, Europe admires." The Louvre Museum in Paris houses one of the most impressive relics of French history, the crown of Empress Eugenie. This masterpiece of jewellery was created for the coronation of Empress Eugenie de Montijo of France in 1855. Eugenie was the wife of Napoleon III, who, despite his position as emperor, was not crowned. However, the king wanted to create a crown specifically for his wife, and although she was the last French woman to wear the crown, its significance for the history of France cannot be overestimated. The creation of the crown was entrusted to the court jeweller Lemonnier, who brilliantly fulfilled the king's order. The crown of Empress Eugenie became the epitome of luxury and sophistication, typical of the era of the Second Empire. It was decorated with many precious stones and pearls that sparkled and shimmered in the candlelight, creating a unique atmosphere of solemnity and grandeur. The crown itself has the shape of a traditional imperial crown, but with some differences. It consists of several tiers, each of which is decorated with precious stones and pearls. In the center of the crown is a large diamond, which symbolizes the power and might of the Empress. One of the most famous and luxurious tiaras in the world is the Queen Victoria tiara. This jewelry, created by the Garrard Jewelry House in 1853, has become a symbol of royalty and sophistication. The tiara was made of platinum and decorated with diamonds, which created the impression of a royal crown on the Queen's head. However, tiara's story was not cloudless. In 1858, the scandal surrounding Queen Charlotte's diamonds broke out. It turned out that some of the diamonds from the tiara had been stolen and sold. To restore justice, some of the diamonds from Queen Victoria's tiara were given to the King of Hanover. This decision caused discontent in the society, but it was a forced step. In 1937, another part of the diamonds from the tiara was used in the crown of George VI. This was due to the fact that the crown required more diamonds to create a more impressive look. The tiara of Queen Victoria is currently in the London Museum. It is an empty frame that recalls the former grandeur and luxury. Prior to the showdown, the tiara was worn by Queen Alexandra and Queen Mary. This indicates that the decoration was very popular and appreciated by members of the royal family. In 1999, the tiara was remodeled by David Thomas of Asprey and Garrard. This made it possible to preserve the historical value of the decoration and make it more modern. In the royal collection, which belongs to the British royal family, there is an amazing pendant with a large hexagonal emerald. This gemstone has an interesting history associated with Queen Elizabeth I and Prince Frederick, Duke of York. The emerald pendant was given by Prince Frederick, Duke of York, to Mr. John Bridge, who was His Majesty's court jeweller. This happened at a time when Prince Frederick was known for his lavish gifts and love of jewellery. In 1916, the pendant was bought by Queen Mary of Teck from Mr. Bridge's descendants. It has been in the royal collection ever since. Queen Mary probably acquired the pendant because of the emerald's traditional association with Queen Elizabeth I. On the reverse side of the emerald, there is an inscription, which is a facsimile of the signature of Elizabeth I, Elizabeth R. The inscription was probably engraved around 1860 to 1870, when jewels and relics associated with Queen Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots, were in great demand among antiquaries. This ring was part of a set of precious stones presented to Queen Charlotte by King George III on their wedding day on September 8, 1761. It depicts a miniature profile of the king, made for the coin, and presented to Her Majesty to wear on the little finger of her right hand on this auspicious day. After her death, the Queen's extensive collection was dispersed. Her personal jewels, including the famous diamonds given by the Nabob of Arcot, were left to her 4 youngest daughters, who sold many pieces of jewellery. The fate of the royal miniature ring, placed under a large flat-cut diamond, is not clear. It was returned to the collection in 1909. In the world of jewellery, there are objects that not only delight the eye with their beauty, but also preserve the history of famous families. One of these works of art is the tiara of Viscountess Churchill. The tiara was made in 1930 by jeweller Hennel for Christina, Viscountess Churchill, who married Major Victor Albert Francis in 1927. Her husband was the son of Queen Victoria's Mistress of the Bedchamber and King Edward VII's Page of Honour, which made him a close friend of the royal family. The tiara is made of old diamonds set in an openwork geometric frame. The design is typical of the time when the decoration was created. The tiara could be turned into a necklace, 2 bracelets and a brooch. There was also an interchangeable set of emerald clip-on brooches that could be installed as the centerpiece of the tiara. Queen Alexandra's tiara. There are many exquisite and luxurious items in the jewellery world that attract attention with their beauty and history. One of these unique pieces is a diamond tiara with turquoise, which once belonged to Queen Alexandra of Denmark of England. This jewellery, created in the early 1900s, has a rich history and is associated with several generations of the royal family. The tiara was made for Queen Alexandra, wife of King Edward VII, and has become one of her most beloved pieces of jewellery. This piece of jewelry is distinguished by its exquisite design and the use of precious stones of the highest quality. The diamonds adorning the tiara shine with all the colors of the rainbow, creating a unique sparkle and radiance. Turquoise, in turn, adds a special depth and color saturation to the decoration. After the death of Queen Alexandra, the tiara passed to her daughter, Maud, Queen of Norway. She carefully preserved the jewelry and passed it on from generation to generation. Today, the tiara is worn by the granddaughter of Queen Maud, Princess Astrid, the sister of King Harald of Norway. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and like it. Thanks.